Michigan valedictorian on trial for murdering his mother. Jeffrey Pyne's ex-girlfriend painted a disturbing picture of life inside the Pyne home just months before the murder. But which side did the testimony help? Dan and Nancy here to weigh in on that. First, here's ABC's John Muller.
Chilling testimony from the ex-girlfriend of the former high school valedictorian accused of brutally murdering his own mother.
She believed her medication was sorcery and witchcraft, and therefore it was evil.
Holly Freeman telling jurors Monday Ruth Pyne was off her medication, dangerous and delusional, assaulting her son Jeffrey in the months before she was murdered.
She had been storing knives in the headboard of her bed. She watched the religious channel, walked around with the Bible.
Prosecutors say 22-year-old Jeffrey Pyne bludgeoned his mother to death in the family's Michigan garage in May of 2011. They claim he was fueled by pent-up rage after years of abuse at the hands of a mentally ill mother who spent time in jail for assaulting him.
How did you grab the pallet?
Also troubling for the defense, those dramatic blisters on Jeffrey Pyne's hands. Disturbing photos jurors have seen over and over again. Pyne maintains he got the blisters throwing a wooden storage pallet at his job on a local farm.
I said, that doesn't look like a pallet would do that.
Freeman also spoke of Jeffrey's fear for his now 12-year-old sister being left alone in the house with his mother, a fear she shared with Jeffrey.
I did not think it was a good idea for Julia to ever be left alone with Ruth in the house.
Defense attorneys maintain Jeffrey was not involved in any way with his mother's murder, claiming a stranger or strangers likely attacked Ruth Pyne on that fateful May day in 2011. For Good Morning America, John Muller, ABC News, New York.
Okay, let's get more now from our legal team. Nancy Grace, the host of HLN's Nancy Grace. Dan Abrams, our legal analyst. And Dan, let me begin with you. The ex-girlfriend of prosecution witness and clearly establishes grounds for a motive, but could also create a lot of sympathy for the defendant.
That's right, but there's no question that she's doing exactly what the prosecution wanted, which is to lay the groundwork for their motive, which is this is a mother who is out of control, who is slowly descending, that she's off her medication, that he'd been worried about it, that he'd been talking about it. But you're right. On the other hand, it provides something if the jurors don't want to convict here and they want to sort of think to themselves, I believe that they have not proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt. This will be one of the things that's in the back of their minds when they say to themselves, you know what, I don't know that I want to convict this guy.
So, Nancy, in the end, was she an effective witness for the prosecution?
Well, here's the deal. It's 6 of one, half dozen the other. I think several of the witnesses that we heard from this week in the last 24 hours have really hurt the state. And the irony is the state brought them on. Number one, the girlfriend you're talking about, she was a witness for the state. But the reality is, I think she helped the defense by, as you say, describing the home life. Not only that, she described how Ruth Pyne, the deceased, was hoarding an arsenal of knives in her headboard behind her in her bed, that she had gone off the deep end, was watching all these religious televangelists on TV 24/7, walking around the house with a Bible, was angry because her 21, 22-year-old son was having sex with his girlfriend. Everything was going haywire in the home. Then we find out the dad, and the state's bringing this on, gentlemen, that the father, Bernie Pyne, is having an affair behind his wife's back. And not only that, not only is he lying to his wife, he's lying to the girlfriend, saying his wife is in a catatonic state until, whoops, the wife comes into a restaurant and meets the mistress with the husband. So now we're seeing motive by the husband, too. And I'm very, very surprised they brought in evidence from the girlfriend that the boy, the defendant, had lied to her. He was cheating on his girlfriend. That's bad reputation evidence. That is reversible error. What were they thinking?
Dan, how far does the judge go here in telling the jury to disregard all the extraneous evidence?
Well, judges all the time they do. Nancy's right to be laughing because they do tell jurors all the time, disregard this particular piece of evidence. Don't. But the truth is, they've heard it.
Not to even tell the jury.
They've heard it.
If you tell the jury, don't listen to that, then they really listen to it.
Yeah, and that's always a real challenge and does become an issue later on in appeal. But, you know, we talked a lot as we talked about this case about the possibility, and Nancy's used the word jury nullification, right? That the jurors may ignore the judge's instructions here and simply find him not guilty. But I still think that there's a way for them to say, within the judge's instructions, I don't believe they've proven this case beyond a reasonable doubt. Yes, I believe there are questions. Yes, I believe there's a lot of evidence that sure looks like he did it. But I think these jurors
could... No DNA and no murder weapon.
I think that these jurors, that it's the hands and the alibi, which are the key pieces of evidence here. And I think these jurors could come to the conclusion that they don't believe that that's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Nancy, we only have 30 seconds. You still think defense is in a strong position?
I think it boils down to the little girl that's still left in the home. And the jury is going to think that little girl, just 12 years old now, 10 years old at the time, was going to be brutalized by this mentally ill mom. And they're going to let him walk. They're going to think he's a hero.
Okay, Nancy, Dan, thanks very much.